So this is Legacy of Kain Ascendance. I had not planned to return to this game after playing it a couple of days ago, but there's been a lot of discourse online about it, both on YouTube and elsewhere, and a lot of people sharing a lot of opinions, and I guess I just wanted to add mine to the mix. Um, I don't think that my opinion has any more valuable or any more value, excuse me, than anybody else's on this topic, nor do I think that anybody should really care what I think about it, but um, there's been a lot of discussion about the storyline and also the gameplay, and I wanted to just show you exactly what this game is like. So we are going to play the entire game, start to finish, which is quite possible because it is only a 3-hour experience, and we'll talk about it as we go. Having only one save slot in your game in 2026 is certainly a decision. I am not sure why they chose to do this.
Where has Mobius's wretched curse cast me now? Am I doomed to drift endlessly through the mists of time?
I have done what I can to counter the Time Guardian spell, but you cannot linger here for long.
Kaisetsik, where have you brought me?
What do your senses tell you, Elena?
Ugh, the stench of the Sarafan fouls the wind.
First off, I want to take a look at my health bar. Right, you can see how much damage these are doing. These are just bonfires that I'm having to walk into. You can't break them. You can only jump over them, which is certainly a decision. The ones on the walls do the same thing, as well as torches. Just any source of fire will deal that much damage to you. You also constantly bleed health
Must
over
your little
time.
spy shadow me at every turn?
It is my eyes, just as your amulet serves as my voice.
Okay, well, the sound mixing is a little bit funky on Kai's voice, and I was going to raise the volume, but it doesn't appear that you can get to options from within the game. Also, it doesn't actually save at these checkpoints.
Perish in darkness, vile creature!
Fool! I am the darkness!
If you quit to title after any of these checkpoints, you will find that all you can do is start a new game, or at least start from the beginning of the chapter. Sorry. These wall jumps are the other. These are fantastic too. As you can see, I'm hitting that ledge, but not actually grabbing it. There is actually wall grabs in this game. They just work incredibly poorly, such that sometimes you'll grab the ledge, sometimes you won't. Yeah, I apologize for the weird starts and stops and continuity breaks here. I'm doing this in one take. There's no script. We're just going to talk through it as we go, so I apologize if this is a bit all over the place. The anime AI is certainly something to... enemies behave completely ridiculously. Like, you can see the archers jumping off of cliffs and jumping around. They'll get stuck on walls.
When your vengeance, Lady of Thorn, I cannot constrain Mobius's curse on you much longer.
They're coming in droves, Kai.
You have wings. Elevate your aspiration.
must be hundreds of them. But where is my brother?
I'm going to not skip any of the dialogue, and I'm going to not... You know, some of these fights you can technically skip if you just run past them. It does do the Soul Reaver 2 and Defiance thing, where you can't run past all of the combats because it blocks you from moving on to the next screen.
You've yet to see the heights I can reach.
That line was certainly a choice to include. If you haven't seen it, that is from Rise of Skywalker, and it was equally ridiculous there. Especially because the vampires could already fly. Like, the ancient vampires, like Janos, they all had wings. So, theoretically, that should be well known.
A pity you must settle on me.
To continue that thought, Soul Reaver 2 and Defiance had this very frequent thing that they did where if you played the games, I'm sure you remember, where you would get like locked into an arena with enemies and you couldn't proceed until you killed them. And it was really obnoxious. I mean, it doesn't... All it does is pad out the game, and I am firmly of the opinion that if you're making a game and you have to make a decision like that to get people to engage with your combat, you should just make better combat. Like, there's so many games that have combat that are fun, and you don't want to skip it. If you have to force people to engage with your combat, you have done a poor job as a combat designer. I'm gonna not skip dialogue. I'm gonna not run past combats, just because I want to really showcase just how long or not long this game is, and I don't want there to be any question of, oh well, you know, maybe there was a lot more content there if he just hadn't run past all of it. So we're gonna pretend like this is a first playthrough. He says as he skips that archer, but I skipped that archer on my first playthrough too, to be fair.
Is anyone out there? Please, help me. Stay back. Stay back.
Just like in the old Legacy of Kain games, those prisoners can just be used as healing potions effectively.
Drop of water.
But they'll keep whining even from off screen for quite some time. This is a great example where if you didn't know this was here, right? Like, I know this because it happened to me on my first playthrough. So you're up on this ledge and you can't see the bottom. You can't look down. There's, like, I'm holding down. There is no way to look down, to be clear. So you don't know if you're supposed to go forward or back. And once you realize that you can go back, if you fall off this ledge, it's just instant death. If you pick up the pickup and then fall off the ledge then, it's still just instant death. You have to collect the pickup again. So, not a great experience. If they were going to have the level of verticality that's present here, they really needed to have a way to look down, or otherwise some kind of indication that, you know, there's a ledge below you, or alternately just not have it kill you. You know, that's something. Well, yeah, you know, that's something that's kind of been solved in games for a long time, where falling off of a ledge doesn't need to just kill you. They could just reset you to the top of the ledge. I mean, she could just lose some health, fly up from below, and recover it. I mean, there's plenty of ways they could have handled that, but instead they chose to just handle it the, you know, NES platformer way. There's constant health bleed, as you can see. That occurs on any of the vampire characters. It's a mildly frustrating mechanic, as are these guys. These guys are a mildly frustrating mechanic. It feels unnecessary, and there's a lot of cases where you don't really have a good way to heal. You don't really have a good way to heal, so you effectively have a time limit and a health limit on boss fights.
I cannot hold back Mobius's curse much longer. When my strength fails, you'll be torn away from here.
Where will I end up this time?
Who can say? 1,000 years into the past? Or yesterday morning? Mobius's machinations rest on the life of your brother. The Time Guardian will do everything in its power to keep you from influencing it.
I don't want to influence his life, Kai. I want to end it. The sooner my goal is achieved, the sooner I can fulfill my obligation to you.
Your brother is a powerful sacrifice. He and his warriors will never
He and his warriors have
Cease
never
this
seen
crap
defeat.
and
Let's
let me
focus on that.
Will you taste my blood, vampire?
I've no taste for weakness.
Show yourself, creature, that I may remember your face before I ruin it. Lilith, this cannot be. You live.
By the blood of Janos Audron, dear brother, you shall pay for Matthias's death.
That's the powerful Seraphan
for
warrior that
my
has
beloved.
never seen defeat.
This is for Matthias!
I am overcome. I know not when or where you will find yourself next, Lady of Dawnlight. Rest assured, I will work with you.
No!
My sister Lilith lives. Impossible.
Did she vanish into the ether? What in Nosgoth's name did we just witness?
The work of Janos Audron. She invoked his name. His foul sorcery protects his brood. But it will not spare him from my wrath.
What are your orders, Raziel?
We ride for the keep of Janos Audron. It is time to still his sinister pulse. It's gone beneath the ice.
I've never seen such a creature. A blue demon cast into flesh.
Yet it led us to Janos Audron's very threshold. Might it be an ally?
Friend or foe, demon or wraith, it changes nothing. Audron's lair is inaccessible. The Brotherhood have tried and failed to access it. The fortress is sealed from below. By the pillars!
Look there!
The creature's done our work for us. The vampire's walls are sundered.
Janos Audron's doom is upon him.
Now, brothers, we strike!
So I assume that everybody
Bleed
who
freely,
would potentially be interested in
Soon
watching a
there'll be
playthrough of this
nothing
game
left of you but a
is familiar with
stain
Soul
on
Reaver
the
2,
ice.
but just in
Better
the event
to
that you're
spill
not,
my blood in battle than to let your cursed kind defile it.
just in case you're not, this is a plot point from Soul Reaver 2. Raziel goes to visit Janos Audrin and has to solve a bunch of puzzles to break into his fortress, but in doing so, he gives the Seraphan access as well, which I like that this scene is in this game. To be clear, I think it's cool. I don't even mind that Elalith is the one that tipped Raziel off, about going to Janos' keep or whatever. I don't mind that she was the one that caused that. It's a fairly minor plot point. It doesn't really matter why he was there, but seeing that level of not retcon really, but I guess explanation, sure, fine. I have a big problem with a lot of the other situations where that happens, and we'll get to those later. But I do want to, be fair to this game, and I think parts of it, especially these beginning bits, are actually quite fine. From a story perspective, the gameplay is still pretty terrible. I especially love Raziel with his 2-inch punch here. I don't know what that guy's doing. That's certainly something. Oh, that... okay, sure.
The father of vampires hides in these cursed walls. Tonight, his blight ends.
These spinning guys are great. They're mildly annoying until you realize that if you just duck, they can't hit you at all. Because just like all your characters, they can't attack up or down, so...
You are lost.
Let's talk about mechanics for a minute while we're here. So, the attacks are all very, very quick to come out, but they arrest all forward momentum.
They say Janos Audrin's eyes shine like burning coals. You can see your soul laid bare.
Stories to frighten children. If the beast had such power, why would he cower here like a rat in the rocks?
Janos has held these lands in terror for centuries. They call him the Devil of Ustenheim for a reason.
The villagers whispered tales of shadow wings and fangs at their throats.
It's not just whispers. I've seen the aftermath. Homes left empty, blood scrawled across walls. They say he drains not just the body, but also the spirit.
Then we'd best make certain his foul soul goes no further than the end of our swords. Do you truly believe this will end it? The plague, the bloodline, all of it?
Malik says this devil's death is the key. His death will break their hold on this world.
Then let's see this done. For the Circle. For the souls he's stolen. For Nosgoth!
For a Lilith!
All the characters have some kind of dash or roll with iframes.
Plague dies with him.
Everybody's got a very similar feeling attack, very similar attack animation, very similar hitboxes. The characters have fairly minor differences, but I don't know. I would have liked to see something a bit more distinct between them. Also, these flying enemies are moderately obnoxious and stay moderately obnoxious through the entirety of the game.
Mobius knew this day would come. His sight pierces the past and future alike.
And in his wisdom, he shaped our crusade, guided the Seraphin Order's righteous hand against this plague. Mobius says this staff will defeat Janos Audrin. Well, I believe him.
He doesn't lend his treasures lightly. This staff is no mere trinket. It's said to cripple vampires, to leave them writhing like maggots in the dirt.
A fitting end for Janos Audron.
And once he lies dead at our feet, we must claim his blade, as Mobius commanded. That weapon must not fall into the wrong hands again.
I had mourned her for 15 years, believed her dead, claimed by the same fate that consumed our parents. Yet now, impossibly, she lives, corrupted by the very evil I swore to destroy. A Lilith, my sister, a vampire. Her wings, just like Janos Audron's. He perverted her after his own image. The sister I knew, buried beneath corruption. Why does she hate me so fiercely? I think of that night often. Thornlatch's rooftops swallowed by flames, smoke curling into the sky, the air thick with the stench of blood and ash. The screams fading as the village lay in ruin from the vampire raid. I remember finding her at the swamp's edge. Her lover, Matthias, at her side, his fangs buried in her right hand as he fed. He'd been turned, another soul claimed by this wretched plague. I thought I could save her, if not from death, then from the curse. I had no choice. When I struck Matthias down, when my blade claimed his head and her hand with it, I prayed the infection would die with him. I had hoped desperately that severing the limb would spare her, but she cursed me for it, screamed at me to leave her to die with him. And so I did. The Seraphim drums carried me from that place. I told myself I was chasing vengeance. But part of me knew I was running from her screams, from the guilt that threatened to break me. If I can kill Janos, perhaps I can free her. Perhaps what's left of my sister still lingers beneath that curse.
So this kind of falls victim to the it falls counter to the show don't tell philosophy. Like, just it's an awful lot of backstory exposition that really
Look sharp, gentlemen.
shouldn't be
These
necessary.
sorcerers spit death from afar.
Like, it's not like the game was too long and they couldn't fit in a couple of more scenes. Not that I really want to play more of this game, to be honest, but that just feels like something that they could have just shown us through another scene.
We protect this sanctum.
I do think this... See, I think this kind of... Without the Alayla exposition, I think this kind of represents what this game could have been. You know, like seeing scenes that we played through with other characters in, you know, the mainline Soul Reaver, Legacy of Kain games. From another character's perspective, you know, that's kind of cool, right? Like, we knew that the Seraphim followed Raziel, but actually seeing it, kind of neat. I wish there was more to it than just fighting a bunch of zombies. I also think it's pretty ridiculous that you heal as human Raziel by eating this ridiculous green ham that's in these boxes in a vampire's citadel who doesn't need food, or this kind of food. I mean, it's more than a little contrived anyway. Let's just put it that way to be gracious. Alright, clearly I need to pay a little bit of attention here, because I am wasting an awful lot of time right now.
Sharp, gentlemen. These sorcerers spit death from afar.
The fact that you have no way to attack up is, and that it arrests all forward momentum when you attack, including in the air, but not up and down momentum, notably, which has caused multiple deaths on my first playthrough, and I'm sure will here as well. Very frustrating. The combat mechanics are simply not good. They have a lot in common with Symphony of the Night and like that, you know, style of Metroidvania games, which is cool. I actually really enjoy those games. Graphically, it's very similar as well. That's actually what I thought I was getting gameplay-wise when I saw the game on Steam, but it is certainly not. There's no Metroidvania aspects to this. It's just a straight-up linear platformer. But yeah, if that's what it had been, I would have been super on board. I mean, I think that the pixel art is very good.
Janus Ordrin, step away from the sword. It will not save you. Your final hour dwindles to its last few grains of sand. Sarafin justice has found you, and human righteousness will have its victory.
You must save yourself, Raziel.
Janos, no! Save myself? It is you who need saving, vampire.
I was not speaking to you, Inquisitor. The Raziel I know is no longer with us.
Ha! That creature shares my name? How ironic. One Raziel leads us to you, the other Raziel ensures your end.
Perhaps one day you will understand the truth. That all of Nosgoth's children are connected. Even you cannot sever those ties with the blade. What loss will finally break your pride?
The only loss here will be yours. Come, brothers!
These boss fights are, in many cases, I think, somewhat uninspired, I guess. In this one, you can't really damage. I mean, you can do minuscule pixels of damage. You can't really do much until they use the staff to lock him down. Then you can just murder the heck out of him. But
For the people of Nosgoth, for the glory of the Sarafan, for the sister who was stolen from me.
really just makes the fight about avoidance until you get your moment to walk in and hit, and the fact that it's not anything that you are doing, it's just literally a matter of waiting. You know, if it was a case of, you know, you have to hit him a couple of times, and then once he's staggered from an attack, then they hit him with the staff, that would have been something at least. Yeah, it's not a very compelling boss fight, which is really unfortunate because it's a very iconic moment in the storyline, right? Like, this could have been really built up and been very cool. I actually struggled with this fight a bit the first time doing it, because I was trying to get damage in while he was up there flying around, and I kept getting hit. Turns out if you just do nothing, it takes the exact same number of cycles to beat him, and it's essentially trivial. I'm sure this is how the actual fight went in Soul Reaver 2 while Raziel was in the Fire Forge.
You believe as the others do, that my bloodline dies with me? We are not so frail, human. You fear what you don't understand, and you despise what you fear.
Do not flatter yourself, vampire. I neither fear nor despise you. All you are to me is a bitter seed from which grew nothing but rot and death. I pity you. If that black thing beating inside your chest is the instrument of Nosgoth's salvation, then so be it. Hold him!
Look at his black heart! How it still beats!
The fiend intends to bury us alive. Raziel, we must get out of here. Remember the sword!
Your reverence is noted, but this task is beneath you, Elect. Your purpose lies elsewhere. This mission is not a good use of your time.
What is the time, Kai? I smell Sarafan, but this is not the camp where I fought Raziel.
That was days ago by the flow of linear time.
I feel I've been absent for 1,000 years. Damn Mobius and his curse!
The Time Guardian is clever. He would not have you disrupt the path he requires of your brother.
His only concern is Raziel.
Yes, and your attempt to kill Raziel has set your brother on a course of vengeance against Janos Odin.
He would not dare attack the Hallowed Father.
He would. He will. He has.
Where is he now?
I suppose that is for you to discuss.
There! The wretch who fell so many... Take my right hand if you will, creature! I will learn to fight with my left!
So you can't see it very well. It is actually shown in the sprites, but she's cutting off their hands every time she kills one. You can see he's holding his hand right there. Because, you know, Raziel took hers, and that's neat, but that dialogue will get very old by the end of this level.
My hand! My hand!
Bring me Raziel. I will not ask again.
These burning patches of oil, like the fact that enemies can just stand in them and do just stand in them, don't try to avoid them in the slightest, very obnoxious. I mean, they damage you. We saw that earlier, just how much damage they do. It's pretty egregious.
Fight with my left.
Is anyone out there? Please.
No!
They really hyped up the verticality in this game on the Steam page, and like this is basically what they were referring to. This is the, you know, however they worded it, like they really specifically mentioned vertical movement and vertical
Your bird
level design.
will never leave me alone, will it?
He has watched you longer than you know. He is my oldest and most faithful friend. His eyes keep you alive, especially when you wander from the path you swore you walk. Is it?
The only comfort left to me is the fight against the Sarafan.
The flight mechanics are really clunky to use. If you have to attack while flying, some percentage of the time you just fall to the ground afterwards. Like it's because of the like movement arresting properties of the attack animation. It's really clunky. There's one point later we'll discuss that.
Right hands, child.
To send a message.
And what is this message?
That killing Janos Audron changes nothing.
Let's point this out right now. So we can see on Alalith, you know, her left hand is holding the sword, her right hand is the claw.
And that the sister's memory is very long? Raziel did, after all, cut off your right hand.
Just in case, you know, we as the players could not make that connection.
I wish to deliver my brother a message written in blood.
I feel like the older Legacy of Kain games did a much better job of, like, I don't know, assuming some basic level of intelligence on behalf of the player, you know, with their writing, whereas that just, I don't know. I don't, it does not meet the same standard that the old games did.
He cut off my hand!
Water! Just a drop of water!
I really hate this level design too, because this was particularly prevalent the first time playing it, when it wasn't clear which way to go. And I'm sure I'm going to run into it a lot here too, just because I've played it exactly one time and was not enthused nearly enough to actually remember the game. But it's really unclear which way is forward and which way is the secret or the hidden area. You know, the level design is very linear. There's not a lot of ambiguity as to where you're supposed to go, or like where the secrets are, I guess you'd say. It's generally pretty obvious that, like, oh, there's, you know, a significantly sized path over there. There's definitely going to be something down there. But if you can't tell if something is a secret or just the way, it makes it really hard to collect those secrets, even if you are inclined to. So water's instant death, as we know, I guess, from the old games, but these platforming sections are just designed, I think, to force you into the water if you are not being intentionally careful to avoid it. The parry mechanic is a nice inclusion. Like, I kind of wish that the older Legacy of Kain games had that. Soul Reaver 2 and I think also Defiance had a block, but like you never really used it in any of those games, or at least I didn't. It was certainly never necessary. You were oftentimes better off just attacking. These levels are just... they feel very long and very samey, right? Like, there's not really any, like, evolution of mechanics or tactics or anything as we progress through this level. You're not gaining any new abilities. There's no new abilities for the entire game. There's runes, like we have this charm here, right? It extends the fleeting calm before the hunger rises again, which just slightly extends the delay before you start losing health very, very slightly. I mean, I don't know if it makes you lose the health slower once it starts, but it feels fairly insignificant. But other than those, which are not really... There's no traversal abilities, I guess, is what I'm getting at. If the game had been an actual Metroidvania where you were doing, you know, significant backtracking, or like where, you know, there were things to go back and find, it had an open world, I mean, especially if you know, I'll pause here because there's a cutscene.
Still walking into danger like a child chasing fire. You are making grave mistakes, Lady of Cornwall.
You're a fine one to speak of mistakes, Kai. You whose errors caused his very soul to be split in twain, with your human half left to rot in the demon realm unless I can somehow rescue it.
Yet here you are, still ignoring the mission you swore.
Here's more, you know, we're going to give you backstory by way of just ridiculously written dialogue between characters, rather than letting you play through that scene.
I'll see to your mission, but only after I repay Raziel for the wrongs he has inflicted upon me. Matthias must be avenged.
Your ambition goes far beyond revenge for a slave owner. You seek to undo yourself, to restore the vampire Raziel took from you. Do not seek to erase mistakes. Focus on repairing their consequences.
One way or the other, I will overcome the curse of Mobius and make the Time Guardian grant me a path back to save Matthias. Then I swear to fulfill my obligation to you.
Matthias was always meant to die. Turned into a vampire, so Raziel would kill you, wound you. That moment anchored Raziel. Mobius would never have run.
Yet I must attempt it. I will find a way. Everything in my being tells me there are other possibilities.
You desire the heart of God.
How can I desire something unknown to me?
Every vampire will believe things impossible, and knowingly sent a prayer and lead to the heart of God. It alone could grant your request, but fate is not intended for you.
We shall see. Where is this heart? In whose chest does it beat?
Janos Porto. Raziel has torn it.
How is it my brother continues to murder hope after hope? If Raziel removed the heart, then he knows where it is.
Yeah, if the game had been an open world game where, you know, similar to Blood Omen, right? The original Blood Omen, where you could kind of, it was, you know, also pixel art. It was 2D. It was a different perspective, but kind of similar. You could continually go back to areas. You know, there was a lot of gaining the ability to go places that you hadn't before. Kind of a you know, Zelda or Metroidvania light setup. And if this game had been that, especially with the character switching, I think that could have been really cool. They kind of did that in Defiance a little bit, where you would, you know, go through the Reaver Forges with Raziel, and then you would later go through them with Kain and see the, you know, the aftermath of what Raziel had done that allowed you to get through as Kain, or that created extra obstacles. And they could have done that here. You know, the second level where you're playing as human Raziel kind of showcases that a little bit, where you're going through, you know, the path that Raziel opened for you in Soul Reaper 2. And I mean, they could have done that here, where you, you know, you initially have fairly limited accessibility, but then, you know, another character comes through the same level in a different way and does something, and then you come back to this character later and you can access more stuff, and you're slowly, you know, opening the map up. I mean, that would have been really cool.
I am weakening again. The Time Guardian's curse is reasserting itself.
Keep me here as long as you can, Kai.
Listen closely. I cannot say where you will end up when this curse overwhelms you. It's clear you won't let this go until you've chased this obsession down. If you cannot find Razi or the Heart of God, then seek out
Kain? You expect me to go to him? He butchered my parents, Kai. I would sooner embrace the pyre than kneel before that monster. What could he possibly offer to help me save Matthias?
more than you think.
This is madness. Kain is a tyrant. You would send me into his lair and call it wisdom?
Spare me. I know and what is done, but he walks closer to the truth than any other in London. You won't stop him. Tear this wound open. So do it quickly.
And if I don't?
Then you die. But we will finally return to one.
So this kind of, I mean, I really, I don't mind that they added characters that we hadn't seen before, right? And I don't even mind that it's a Lilith. I don't even mind that a Lilith is Raziel's brother or sister, rather. What I mind is the retconning and the absolute just destruction of the old lore that they wrought here. I want to propose an alternate way that this could have gone, right? We just heard, the line where she's like, oh, Cain killed our parents, whatever. That could have been the entire basis for this storyline. She could have been Raziel's sister or not. I don't think that really even matters, right? But she could have been somebody who Cain had wronged when she was human, who then later became a vampire, and through
Take my right hand, if you will,
other
Peter.
circumstances,
I
right?
will
Not because
learn
of
to
Cain,
fight
and then
with my left.
maintained that sort of vendetta against him for that. Maybe she even resented being turned into a vampire, and decides that she's going to get revenge on Cain for what he did to her or her family or what have you. Right? And that could have been this game. It could have been her kind of trying to get in tight with Cain, at the founding of his empire, maybe making him think or letting her think that he thinks that, she's his servant, with her having, some grand plan to like steal the Soul Reaver and kill him or something. I don't know exactly what that would have been. But that could have been the storyline. We could have seen the founding of the Empire. We could have seen all of these events happening, right? Even like raising the Seraphan. She didn't have to propose that, as she does. We'll see that a bit later. But could have been something that she was privy to, or at least aware was happening. We could have taken control of Cain for that and see it. Basically, get to see all of the events that happened during the founding of the Empire, and the parts between Cain's sacrifice of the pillars and the beginning of Soul Reaver 1, which we don't really see elsewhere, but through her perspective, or even partially through her perspective. And then, at the end, let her have this mastermind's plan to kill Cain, and then at the end, let it be revealed that Cain was aware of it the entire time and was just using her, right? Let her have some kind of importance to the original story, but rather than making it her masterminding those events, let it be Cain using her to mastermind those events unwittingly, right? That would have been, and then the end literally could have been a showdown between her and Cain, where Cain ultimately kills her. That would have been, I think that would have been excellent. I mean, it would have been really cool to be able to see these events, especially through the eyes of another character. It would have been especially cool to maintain Cain as just this very...
My time is short, mortal. Where is Raziel?
He and our best warriors are on a mission to bring an end to the war. And you. The time of the vampire is no more!
Time is subjective.
It certainly is. I'm sorry, child. The curse overwhelms me at last.
No! Not yet!
Yeah. I think it's basically a character assassination of Cain that we take all of the cunning that his character had and just attribute it to her instead.
What happened here?
We were beset. A vampire.
A single vampire wreaked such carnage?
It was the fiend from Bosgard Pass. The winged devil. The winged devil is dead. Take courage. Raziel, cut out his heart!
Right ahead, brothers. Make sure the stronghold is secure. Where is she now?
I know not. She disappeared into a sudden mist, but not before maiming so many. She had but 2 words on her lips.
That guy's very calm for somebody with his arm cut off.
State them.
One was Raziel. The other was revenge.
What have I done wrong? Audrin's progeny still thrives.
Look, Raziel! Do you see it? Death. Death is coming for me. Behold, its ashes skin. My time expires.
The Blue Demon. Janos Audrin had the wisdom to save you from me, but you rushed to abandon that pardon? Is this why you give chase, Blue Demon? Do you presume to take my prize? Very well. Come and claim the Black Heart if you dare.
I do think it's cool that we see Raziel with a Fire Reaver there, which he was acquiring in Janos's fortress, while Janos was fighting Seraphan Raziel. It's a nice touch. The whole scene with Raziel and that soldier, okay, so soldier's there with his arm cut off, has been there for however long it's been since a Lilith came through and cut his arm off. Yet he's just like talking casually. Raziel's just like sitting there in his horse, carrying on a conversation with him like it's just any other soldier. If they wanted to make that scene less ridiculous and frame Raziel as being not such a righteous character as, you know, he sees himself, they could have had him get down off, like they could have had the soldier there, like, you know, begging for help or begging for death even, but had Raziel, you know, get down off his horse and grab the guy and just, you know, grab him by the throat and hold him there and just interrogate him. Meanwhile, the soldiers, you know, screaming, crying, begging, pleading, whatever. But Raziel just refuses to, you know, let him die until he gets what he needs from him. That would have been a much better way for that scene to play out. That would have been less ridiculous.
To arms, brothers! The blue demon is at our doorstep. Let all who can still wield a sword answer your duty.
Don't hurry, guys. Don't rush any.
Come to take your revenge, demon! Back to hell with you!
Some of these are actual upgrades, but most of them are just lore that I've already got. We can go through the lore. I don't remember which ones the upgrades are, but I'm not going to stress over it.
Have you come to reclaim the monster's black heart? You'll have to get through us first.
I do think it's, so. If you don't recall from playing Soul Reaver 2, this is Raziel fighting his way through the castle. You know, and each group of the Seraphan that he meets, you know, has one of those dialogues. So that's Raziel killing them as this Raziel goes to their final confrontation.
Lord Mobius, I see Tyrell has returned your staff. It served its purpose well, but a new creature assaults us now. It wields a fiery blade unlike any I've seen.
A curious thing, is it not? It slinks between worlds, neither living nor truly dead. A remnant of some cursed fate, best left unspoken.
I love that they just keep bringing back the word unspoken, which was the word that was used to describe the Hilden in Blood Omen 1.
It fights with purpose.
It is driven by vengeance, Raziel. That creature was once a vampire, bound by the ancient hatred against the very order you serve.
We first encountered it near the cliffs. We gave chase, keeping our distance. And at the end of its path, we found Janos Audron.
How fitting. The creature that now hunts you led you on your most sacred kill. Fate delights in such cruel symmetry.
Perhaps fate has miscalculated. I do not fall so easily.
Your courage serves you well, but steel yourself. Your brothers lie slain, and the storm draws near. Now, give me my prize.
I cut it from the winged devil's chest myself.
You have done well, Raziel. I am pleased.
So, Vampire, here we are. You've destroyed my brethren, and now you've come for me. But you'll find I'm not such easy prey. I don't want to kill you, but I will if I must. Return the heart to me, and we can end this now.
I think Raziel actually looks great there, right? Like the pixel art, but also just the dialogue sprite.
So, you've come to avenge that filthy parasite and reclaim his foul heart. You're a righteous fiend, aren't you?
And this dialogue's coming straight from Soul Reaver 2, which I think is a great throwback. I really like that they included scenes from the older games.
Apparently I am. No, vampire, this is where it ends. But you won't be leaving this room. Now, let's finish this. I'll make it mercifully quick. As you did for Janos. No, that beast had eluded us for far too long. It would have been a great shame to end him too quickly. It's ironic, really. The great Janos Audron turned out to be no challenge at all. Thanks to you. Did you hear his cowardly screams when I tore that black heart out of his carcass?
I feel like the delivery on that line in the original cutscene was a lot better. It was just, there was a tangible sneer in Raziel's voice. No, that beast had eluded us for far too long. Like, it's just very dismissive of the whole thing, whereas it kind of loses that here.
Your time's up, Butcher. Justice has come.
I like that they do let you fight him, despite, I mean, we don't know how this fight goes. They do this interesting thing here, where if you parry his attack, you can counterattack, but then you're also you can't do anything for a second, which gives him time to recover and get an attack in. So even if you parry every attack without fail, you still have no way to kill him before he kills you, it's a clever way to handle it, because they obviously couldn't let the player win there.
Ever vigilant, Raven. Your gaze never strays far. It's done. Raziel is gone. And the Heart of Darkness, lost to time.
Perhaps now you can unshackle yourself from this folly and return to the path we began together.
Not while there's still a whisper of hope. You said Cain might hold the key, that his knowledge could guide me. Then that is where I go next.
One thing I will say is I think Ilayla's voice actor did a very good job. I don't remember offhand who it is, but I don't think the writing is particularly good, but I think the voice acting is fine. I would even say I think it's good. I'll go that far.
Where have you cast me now, Kai? Does Cain exist in this sliver of history?
I did not guide you to this place, child. You were drawn here by threads beyond my reach. But the path is not unfamiliar. You have been here before. This is a Nosgoth cleansed of vampires. The Sarafan are no more. Your brother is long dead. The humans hold dominion now. And Cain endures, a god among mortals.
Tell me where he broods.
To the west, seek the pillars.
Something here feels different, Kai.
You are perceptive as ever. Yes, child. You are unbound.
Unbound?
Mobius is dead, and with his death, the curse that yoked your soul to his will has unraveled.
The curse that we have no context for, that might have been included in the graphic novel, I can't tell you, but yet another thing that could have been shown and not said.
I am free?
Yes, free.
How? How did this come to pass?
It was Cain. He slayed the Time Streamer, and in that act, the weave of your torment came undone. By the ticking of mortal clocks, Mobius fell centuries past. But you, adrift in the recursive churn of fate, feel the breaking only now. The endlessness of Mobius's time prison has cast you between the shattered epochs of Nosgoth for millennia. Perhaps you should offer Cain your gratitude for ending this. Ha! His ego may find such flattery agreeable.
That previous line of dialogue before, where her line that started with, whatever, voice trembling, I think that's literally the only time in the entire game that we get like stage direction as part of the dialogue, which makes me wonder if that was maybe a note for the voice actor that wasn't actually supposed to make it into the game, especially because it's not actually reflected in her voice. I just found that funny.
Gratitude? No. I may be cut from Mobius's strings, but that does not make the blade my ally. Cain now remains my only chance to reach Matthias. Should he refuse me,
And if he does?
then I will kill him.
Cain does not succumb to death, child. He bestows it. Proceed carefully.
Not since the age of Janus Audron have winged vampires walked this land. Strange. A remnant of Vorador's cabal, perhaps. My curiosity has granted you a reprieve from death. For now. Approach.
I have come seeking a favor.
A favor? How tedious. You tread dangerous ground with your presumption.
Not presumption, Lord Cain. Desperation.
What is the source of this desperation?
A desire to right a wrong.
Swords and teeth are sufficient enough for that.
It is said you have the power to weave time's tapestry according to your whims.
I'm not Mobius. The threads of fate are delicate, but go on, I'm intrigued. For the moment.
I really think the voice actors, there's been commentary on this all over the place, and we don't need to beleaguer the point, but it's clear that 20 years have passed, since the last game were recorded. I think Kane's voice by far is the closest to the old one, and it's even got the same kind of inflection, and I love it. I think it's fantastic.
Long ago, a Sarafan killed my lover. I would see him restored.
You would do better to find a new, less pathetic paramour.
I did not come seeking your counsel on matters of the heart.
No, you seek a paradox. That is no small matter. Yet you speak as though you understand the dangers. Tell me, did Vorador send you here? Did he tell you what befell him the first time I dared to re-stitch time's threads?
Let him believe you are one of Vorador's. He won't trust you otherwise.
Yes, Vorador told me.
Did he now? And a rare trust? Was your comprehension of his words just as uncommon?
I understood enough to seek you out.
You've earned a sliver more of my patience. You call time a tapestry. If that is so, then the loom insists on its own great design.
The loom will come along to my way of thinking. Teach me about paradoxes, Cain.
Just the arrogance in her character, like, it would be fine if it was punished, but I don't feel like it is. Instead, it's just rewarded at every turn, and this is why she gets called a Mary Sue. She's just in a game, in a series about deeply flawed characters. She just doesn't have that. And it's just, she's not written the same as the old characters were, and that writing is what the fans of the series, myself included, I can't speak for the fans of it. That's what I liked about this series, and what I have seen other people express that they also liked. Um, it's it's egregiously missing here.
What would you give me in exchange?
Isn't my gratitude enough?
Only fools accept thanks as payment.
Tell him of the tomb of the Sarafan, where your brother lies in eternal slumber. Reveal its location. Plant the seed that he might raise Raziel and the others there to reforge the fallen Sarafan as his servants. Let Nosgoth see that even the hallowed dead bend the knee to Cain.
And this is where, on the first playthrough, this game lost me. Like, as soon as you take that, I mean, that act of raising the Sarafan as his lieutenants was attributed to Cain as just this sly, calculated bit of just a fantastic play. Yet, this is rewriting that lore to attribute it to her instead, that is unforgivable.
Why?
It will be a spectacle of his supremacy, and for you, another chance at vengeance.
Do you truly believe he will accept such a bargain?
There is but one way to know.
See, and there's the implication here too, or the possible direction that they were trying to go with this, where Kai Setsik being at least half Hilden or partially Hilden or influenced by the Hilden, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe that's explained in the graphic novel, but I couldn't tell you. But being influenced by the Hilden, is kind of the one that's pushing her towards pushing Cain towards that outcome, which could be fine if it was presented differently. If this storyline was more focused on the Hilden and how they were masterminding things behind the scene, because we saw in Defiance that they were. We just don't know the extent of it. And they were, they had their fingers in a lot of these events already. And if we saw that, these events were actually, if it was clearer and the story was about the Hilden masterminding these events to manipulate Cain into, fulfilling his role as, one of the prophesied champions that we see in Defiance, that could have been cool. I would have been on board with that, because it's an established superpower, that we had already seen have some very strong influence on the storyline from previous games, and that would have been, another layer of the story, I guess, that they could have unraveled, which would have been also acceptable, I think.
I will tell you the location of a tomb where Sarafan Inquisitors lie.
What use to me are dust and bones?
And the fact that he doesn't even understand why she would tell him this until she explains it, that's not the Cain that we know and love.
Resurrected, they will make powerful servants and magnificent symbols of your strength. Even the mightiest of the Sarafan are subject to your will.
Curious. Tell me then, where is this tomb?
Hiding in plain sight. Surely you have seen it, yet you deemed the interred dead of little consequence. To find it, journey west beyond the pillars, toward the Lake of Tears. Within the canyons, cut into the walls of the cliffs, you'll find the sepulchre. There, your new servants wait.
I'll back up slightly. Going back to the, I don't know, my own fan fiction theory about how they could have done this, where a Lilith is, trying to ingratiate herself to Cain. It would have been neat if he had found the tomb and had discussed his plans to raise them with her, and she had actually, as Raziel's brother, had actually been opposed to it because she didn't want him to defile her brother's tomb, but had to just go along with it despite internally seething because she didn't want to blow her cover as, a secret traitor. And that could have also been really cool, I think.
Intriguing vision. Perhaps I will pursue it.
Now, to your end of this bargain.
You're a persistent one, aren't you? Very well. You're
persistent because you asked for the thing that we made a bargain, or that that you think we made a bargain about literal minutes before. What persistence?
A paradox is not something I can simply tell you. To grasp its true nature, the threads that both bind time and unravel it, you must first prove yourself worthy. Do you even understand the ground beneath you? The history etched into Nosgoth's bones?
Suggesting that Kain at this point is very familiar with the nature of paradoxes and exactly what happened, or like what Mobius manipulated him into doing when this previously came up is... I don't like that. Like, we know that by the time Soul Reaver rolls around, which is 1,000 years after the Pillars fell, that he had spent a lot of time in Mobius's time streaming chamber, had seen all of the possible futures, had possibly explored some of them. We don't really know the extent of that. He clearly knew how the time streaming chamber worked and could have at any point gone back in time there or forward. We saw all the scenes that he saw as Raziel walks through, including the raising of the Seraphim. I mean, we know he knew that, but we don't know if he's seen that at this stage. If he has, one of those scenes was literally raising the Seraphim. He would have seen himself do it in that scene and known to do it now. It wouldn't have been a surprise to him. If he hasn't seen that, I don't feel like he would have this level of understanding of the nature of paradoxes and the nature of time as he seems to at this stage.
So, the spectre stirs from her vigil. I did not summon you, Ariel.
No, Kain. You summon no one. You command or you destroy. But not today. I felt her presence. This one, she trembles the very marrow of Nosgoth. Child, all emerge from their mother's womb carrying the twin scents of promise and failure. It is not often long before one odor predominates. You remain indeterminate, and this has intrigued me. So let us test the weight of your purpose. Let us play a game, you and I. Each of these pillars once bore a guardian, until the circle was shattered. Answer my riddles, and with each truth, I shall tell you what became of them.
Play her game. See where it leads. I'll remain close should the need arise.
Odd. Another voice speaks through your talisman, yet I hear only the echo, not the words. If we are to proceed, it must fall silent.
This just feels so contrived. Clearly it's just trying to explain why Kai can't just give you the answers to her riddles, but like having this be the method that they do that is just so ridiculous. If like her presence had somehow suppressed the power of the amulet, that would have been cool. I mean, there's other ways they could have done this.
I understand. Be still, Kai. I'll call for you when this is done.
Meanwhile, Kain is just like not questioning that at all.
As you will. Good luck, Lady of Thornlatch.
Like, you'd think that he would pick up on the fact that Ariel is saying that somebody else was there speaking to her that he couldn't hear.
The first to fall, his love defiled, logic forsaken in fury wild. Where thought is weapon and madness reigns, what pillar bears the mentalist's chains?
So I feel like this whole puzzle sequence is kind of silly. She gives the clues with the implication that if you're familiar with the series, you can use the clues to figure out which guardian she's talking about. The problem is, if you're familiar with the series, you know, even if only from, going through the Reaver forges in Defiance and Soul Reaver, what the nine elements are, or at least you'd be able to recognize them out of a list. What we have here are 3 words that are all related to the clue, but only one of them is an actual element, that being mind. If you're not familiar with the series, all 3 of those could be the answer to that riddle, like if you didn't have the background. So, like, who was this for?
Naprapta, my beloved, guardian of the Mind Pillar. When I was slain, grief shattered his mind, and madness followed. At the first hint of gain, Cain took Naprapta's head without hesitation, quick to kill, as always. The Mentalist was the first to fall, and he did not fall alone.
See, Cain could have interjected here and given his side of the story, which would have been neat.
Unseen. Let demons walk where men had been, where space distorts and forms betray. What pillar warps the world this way? Azimuth, guardian of dimension. She opened the veil and welcomed demons into Nosgoth's heart. Cain chose her as his serpentine blade's first taste. One merciless strike, nothing more. To him, her death was merely a step on his path. A knight in chains, his oath betrayed, in fire and steel his penance paid. Where battle burns and peace must bend, what pillar wills the war to end? Malak the Damned.
The fact that we go back
Once
to
the
a
guardian
Lilith
of
in between each
conflict,
one of these,
bound by
but she doesn't say
oath
anything,
and
just feels
fire.
so out of place.
Cursed by Mortanius for an ancient failure. Now his soul is chained to his armor, enslaved for eternity. He wore the wild, a beast in thought. By root and flame his power wrought. Where verdant life and death entwine, what pillar binds this worldly line? Bane, guardian of nature, a force of wilderness and fury. Twisted by Naprapta's insanity, he became something monstrous. Cain called Bane like a rabid beast, as though death were his cure for everything. The mirror cracked, yet none could see the binding thread of destiny. Undying choice, immortal shame. Which pillar holds the world in frame? Balance, my own pillar, my purpose. Stolen from me the moment Mobius set his plan in motion, and Cain refused the sacrifice. He was offered a choice. One life for all of Nosgoth. Cain chose himself. She burned with light no flesh could keep, a waking storm that would not sleep, where power coils and sparks take form. Which pillar births both life and storm? Jejul. She was ill-suited for the burden she bore. Corrupted like the rest, then struck down by Cain, of course. He never considered what it meant to slay, only that it was necessary to his mission. He spoke of fate with serpent tongue, a future sold, a past undone, where ages twist and truths are lies. Which pillar breaks what never dies? Mobius, the time streamer, a deceiver always. He betrayed the circle, but believed he was serving a greater purpose. And Cain? He danced to Mobius's tune, then killed him for the melody. Time has a cruel sense of irony. He shaped the world with fevered hand, where stone could melt and air could stand. Sculpt the water to look like men, before this fire makes it flow again. Anacroth, the alchemist, he twisted the elements to his will, sculpting matter as though he were a god. But even gods fall. He raised the lifeless, yet could not rest, a soul enslaved within its flesh, where endings feed what lies beneath. Which pillar crowns the Lord of Sleep? Mortanius, my murderer, and yet not my true enemy. He bore the pillar of death, and in time, death consumed him. He raised Cain, gave him purpose, and set this entire tragedy in motion. And Cain, ungrateful to the last, repaid him with a blade. The cycle ends where it began, in blood and betrayal. You see now, don't you? The cost of bargain struck in darkness. Cain will not guide you. He will use you as he used us all. Still, you answered true. There may yet be hope in you. Go carefully, child.
I've completed Ariel's game. Now give me what I came for.
It just feels so out of place for Cain to not interject at any point in that. Like, he is not the type to just stand there and watch somebody else talk to Ariel while she functionally badmouths him.
The true riddle begins to stir behind those eyes. A paradox. Fledgling is not a law. It is the defiance of one. A fracture where truth and lie walk hand in hand. I've seen such wounds open in the fabric of time. I do not understand them, but I suspect more than I should.
A fracture? One where Matthias might yet live? Tell me how to break time, as you once did.
When I struck down William the Just centuries ago, his blade clashed with mine. The same blade, across time, past and present, colliding in one impossible moment. The paradox was born not from movement, but from overlap. Two truths, mutually exclusive, yet momentarily the same.
See, I don't think Cain understood this at this point. It's been a long time since I played Blood Omen 1, but he was getting manipulated by Mobius, and he didn't fully understand what he was doing. That was the entire basis for that scene, is that Mobius, as the Oracle, tricked him into going back and killing William before he could rise to power, and then in doing so, caused the crusade, because it rewrote time such that a vampire went back in time and killed William the Just, their benevolent ruler, and then it just made all of the humans rise up against the vampires and start slaughtering them. And then when he got back to the present, then they were all, it was like the Seraphim Crusade was in full effect, driven by Mobius. And Mobius knew what caused that, right, with the two Reavers. That's why he engineered Cain having the Reaver before going to do that, and also gave it to William in the past. But I don't believe Kane understood that at this point. It's not until later, presumably later, when he goes to Mobius's time streaming chambers and really starts to learn all of the ins and outs, that he really understood what was going on. And he explains it to Raziel in Soul Reaver 2, but I feel like it's fairly minor in the grand scheme of things that this game ruins, but it's mildly obnoxious to me.
Another riddle. If I could travel through time, I wouldn't need a paradox at all.
Your thoughts crawl where they should fly. A paradox is not conjured by motion alone. It need not arrive draped in the trappings of the future. The present drags the past behind it like a shadow. Remain still long enough, and time itself may rise to confront you, unbidden.
Always these half-truths. What is it you see, Kane? What lies beneath your suspicions? Why should I trust a word you say?
You shouldn't, yet here you are.
What are you doing?
Curious. I meant to strike you down, but the Reaver, it refused.
You really are the tyrant your reputation promised.
Tyrant? Champion? Those are words for poets. I seek only what serves Nosgoth, and to achieve that, I do what must be done. You may be bound to my fate in ways neither of us yet grasp.
This bargain is hollow. I endured your trials, your posturing, your riddles, and all I receive is an attempted execution. I've earned more than this.
You want payment? Then take it.
You would give it to me?
I also find it mildly obnoxious that Kane is kneeling there. I get that he's offering her the Reaver, but like, there is nothing about Kane's character that would let him kneel to this random woman that he just met, or really anybody for that matter. He is far too arrogant for that.
See what happens.
I don't understand. It calls to me, but there's something else. Something is screaming inside me. I can't take it.
Fascinating. A pity, but not a failure. You've seen more tonight than most glimpse in a lifetime, and yet the shape of it all still eludes you. We will meet again, that much I'm sure. If time still bows to fate, it will choose the hour when you see a paradox for what it truly is. Until then, I have Sarafan to raise from their graves.
Bleed, beast, and be forgotten!
Ah, yes. Beautiful. I really hate these flying things. I don't know why they included these. They are pretty awful as enemies go. I don't think there's any... I don't think they appeared anywhere else in the series that I remember. Certainly not in anything since Blood Omen 1, and I don't even remember them there. They're downright obnoxious enemies, and they don't really add anything to this experience, and in fact detract from it considerably. So there we are again with the utterly absurd damage for falling in things. And here's a situation too where, like, which way do you go? Who knows? Like, is it up? Is it down? If it's not down, you're gonna die because you can't see the bottom. God, the, like, fully arresting your forward momentum when swinging is just, it's just ridiculous. Like, it doesn't work well in this style of game. It creates all these awkward situations where you feel like you're in range of something, but the range is much lower than you feel like it should be, so you end up just whiffing, and you can't move while doing it. I also hate that Kain doesn't have his float ability from Defiance here. Like, I get that this is supposed to be the Blood Omen 1 era Kain, which is fine, but, like, he didn't need that ability in Blood Omen because there was nothing, there was no jumping. I mean, it was a you know, top-down game. But here, you could really use it. One thing I will say is, like, not all of the music lands in this game, and, like, this track is a little bit funky. I'm not sure it's super in place here, but generally speaking, I do think the music in this is very well done. These things are fucking absurd too. I gotta really showcase this. When you break these, they just, like, very slowly fall to the ground below, but if you don't move off of them, you just very slowly glide down as well, which maybe was their way to, like, make the, you know, the fact that you can't see under you a little bit more tolerable, since you can kind of ride those down and then, you know, jump off of them when you realize that there's nothing to stand on underneath. But geez, it's just such a poor way of doing that. Poor way of doing that really describes a lot of things in this game when it comes to the actual gameplay and the storyline, but especially the gameplay. It is not, I mean, geez, you know, I've seen it described as like a Game Boy Advance era game, and, like, I wouldn't be that mean to it. I think it's Symphony of the Night, you know, in appearance, but it is certainly not modern. We'll put it that way. Like, there are a lot of just modern game design conventions that are not taken into account here, and really should have been. I do love that guy, when he's jumping, doesn't even register the hit animation-wise until he hits the ground. It's just fantastic. These things are fucking amazing too. Like, why include shit like this in a Legacy of Kain game? It just feels so immensely out of place, and it gets even worse later. We'll see. I feel like this might have been one of the upgrades, and there was an upgrade around here somewhere that was actually useful. Nope, not it. There's that glorious ledge grab coming into play again, you know?
Darkness ends with my blade.
ledge grabs are just, they're certainly something. Tell you what. Like if you haven't played this game, you're gonna watch this and think that I'm just bad at video games, which I'm not great. I will be the first to admit that. I don't have the reflexes that I used to, but I'm certainly not as bad as it looks like from watching this. I love that going through those in mist form deletes the projectile. It's like they didn't remove the collision from the projectile, they just removed the damage model from it. Which technically does work, but it's, I mean, functionally it works, but it's just a very lazy way of doing that. I do love the, you know, the screaming Ve Victus and the laugh. That's straight out of Blood Omen 1. He used to, it might even be the same audio files when he was killing people, which that's great. It's not a coincidence that all the points that I'm commenting that I like about this game are the points where you're playing as, you know, one of the classic characters, and they're really exhibiting, you know, references back to the early games rather than anything with Alalith and anything new. That's really all they had to do, and they would have had a winner on their hands with this game. Is just, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. This sort of platforming is just certainly not what I would have wanted from a Legacy of Kain game.
Cleanse Nosgoth of this plague!
That was a little close. A new game in the style of Blood Omen 1 would be just fantastic. I would love that game. Oh, I love this. I ran into the same problem the first time playing this too, actually. Where they specifically put that there so that you have to fly to that, but if you grab the ledge, you can't fly to it. And you have to, like, jump backwards. Oh my god, yet again. I was hoping that was going to go back to the checkpoint, not the entire beginning of the level, but I guess this is where we're at. It's fine. It's 2 minutes. 2 minutes of very underwhelming gameplay.
Your darkness ends with my blade.
This is really, I mean, this part of the game is really, I think, when the frustration really started to hit me the first time too, and it certainly is now as well. Not because the gameplay is any, like, appreciably worse than it was before, but just because this is where the story, where it was clear where the storyline was going, and it just, oh god, like any enjoyment that I was previously feeling had gone out the window by this point. Definitely grab this. There we go. Speedrun strats right there. have been that upgrade. Nope, this is just the way. Never mind. The other way would have been the upgrade if it was there, but I'm not going to go back for it now. That was interesting.
Please, don't leave me here.
I swear to God, man, that is just the most... I don't know what it is about the... I don't even know which way I'm going anymore. I don't know what it is about the ledge grab, but it just... It works occasionally, but not when you really need it to.
Is anyone out there? Please, help me. Water. It's a drop of water.
If anybody has played this and is noting something that I am clearly doing wrong with regards to making the ledge grab work, I would love to hear what it is. Somewhere around here there's a secret, and I... No. There's an upgrade, the thing that I'm looking for, and I found it the first time playing, and I can't remember where. I might have already passed it even. There's an upgrade that lets you gain health for hitting things, which is really helpful in some situations where you just need to get health back but can't actually kill something, like for example egregiously long boss fights.
Done with it.
And I would certainly like to find that, but I'm not going to bother to go look it up, and I'm certainly not going to spend a lot of time looking for it. It's not even, I mean, it's not even a lot of healing, to be honest. It's very, very limited in usefulness. It's like a pixel, maybe, per hit.
Water. Just a drop of water.
Clearly need to just slow down and pay attention here. I have very hard, you know, I play games a lot better when I'm not feeling frustrated by things. I ran into this situation the first time too, where I was very upset about the direction the storyline was going, and I just started having a really bad time with the actual game too. It's not that it's like appreciably harder than anything that came before. I mean, there's some annoying things with the jumps and the ledge grabs, but the game itself is not, you know, I wouldn't call this notably more difficult. It's just that I'm not enjoying the game. It's making me play worse. I love these too. It's literally like the Super Mario fire bars. Like I don't know what. I don't know why we need this. Like, what is this adding to the experience? Man, they just like, they really, I feel like they just really do everything that they can to take the fun out of some of these segments with just, you know, like, why can't you look down here, you know? Why can't I see what's below me? Like, why build gotcha moments into jumps like that? The frequency of the checkpoints. Oh god, I'm gonna miss that again. The frequency of the checkpoints is really just all over the place too. And some levels it feels you get one every 2 enemies you fight, and then other enemies or other levels like this one, they're just very few and far between, and like with very limited ability to heal in between fights or in between traps even. Then there's situations like that where, like, you know, I'm just gonna let this kill me. Where, you know, I killed the guy, was drinking his blood, had health, but was already dead, and for some reason the game hadn't registered that yet. Which, like, fine, whatever, but, like, it's just sloppy, you know? It feels like sloppy game design. I really... The health degen really... I could have done without that here, because you feel pressure to rush because you're just under time pressure constantly. There we go with the trying to attack while dashing, and you just stop moving forward and then fall to your death thing. But yeah, you feel time pressure to hurry, but like the mechanics really need you to not hurry, because you have to carefully time these jumps. And like obviously, you know, yes, you lose more time by getting hit than you would by just delaying the jump by a second, but I don't know, it's not, I don't enjoy this as a mechanic. I also, I mean, you know, clearly the Tomb of the... There we go again. Clearly the Tomb of the Seraphan, you know, was just full of fire bars when Raziel came here in Soul Reaver also. So obviously this has no, you know, ridiculousness when it comes to lore implications at all.
The night of this filth!
Well, there goes that health. I was just like, well, not dying to the vampire, I'm just going to jump right off this cliff. I love this too, like you duck and you don't get hit because you're ducking and it goes over your head, but also it still connects with your hitbox, so it destroys the projectile. It's just, it's very sloppy from a game design perspective. I mean, come on, you know? That looks like somewhere that they would hide something, but apparently it's just an invisible wall. That's fine. We all love invisible walls in video games. Blood Omen 1, Kain could drink from multiple enemies at once if they were
Your blood
dead near each
now
other.
serves a greater purpose.
Nice of that guy to just stand there bleeding out while we talk to him. I'm sure that needed to be a dialogue box like that rather than just a line of dialogue that plays while you're fighting like it is everywhere else in the game. Oh, this I think is my second least favorite thing in the game.
In their arrogance, the Sarafan carved sermons for vampires on the walls of their crypt. Reject the bitter darkness of my thirst. Hear me, pathetic ghosts. An implacable enemy has come into your midst, and I shall defile every pretty sentiment you cling to in death.
Like, who is Kain talking to here? This has the same writing as, like, the narration from Blood Omen 1, where he, you know, it's like, in their arrogance, the Sarafan did this thing. Is he actually physically saying this right now? Because the second half of the line suggests that he is. He's actually talking to them. But if you read the first sentence in that context, it does not make sense. It's like they read through all the dialogue in Soul Reaver 1, and we're like, okay, we can write like that, or in Blood Omen 1, excuse me. It's like, oh yeah, we can write like that, it'll be great. Without really understanding the context or the reason behind that writing and why it worked. They talked on the Kickstarter page about how, oh yeah, like they're all really lore friendly and they all really understand the lore and they're gonna be respectful of it. I'll show you in a second why I keep referencing the Kickstarter page here. Actually, let's pull it up right now.
Another quaint bit of
after this
preaching.
dialogue.
Deluded Sarafan fools. The last thing Lord Mobius said was for my ears before I removed his head.
Alright, this is... if I can get it to... So this is the original Kickstarter page for the Dead Shall Rise, the graphic novel. And if we scroll down, I'm just going to show you the sample pages of the graphic novel that they show on the Kickstarter page here. So what we are seeing here is Kain outside, you know, basically the level that we just played through, right, where he's outside the Tomb of the Sarafan. You know, here we've got him going inside. They inscribe their arrogance in stone. I shall enjoy desecrating this hallowed place. Basically the line that we just heard, but in you know, slightly less verbose. So he goes into the tomb, you know, he looks through, they've rested here long enough, Rahab, he's going through each one. Raziel, Janos Audron's greatest mortal foe, awaken as my most devoted lieutenant, immortal devout. And then he pushes the tomb open, he slices his arm, he pours it onto Raziel, you know, awakens the dead to bind them to thy will. I resurrect you with the vampiric gift and baptize you in the essence of my very soul. Raziel, rise, my firstborn. Rise and serve. So keep that in mind in a couple of minutes here. Once again, we've got that whole, you know, very slowly falling wooden planks that you're stuck on, except this time it's an annoyance, not a benefit. Oh, this is interesting. I'm actually dead here, yet we're still going through the dialogue. We'll come back to that. I was really hoping that wasn't going to freeze. These whole trap sequences are just so unbelievably poorly designed and out of place in these games.
More of this.
Closest that we had to this previously, I think, was the puzzles and some of the stuff in, you know, the Soul Reaver games, but I don't mind puzzles. I don't like these. Navigating traps is not fun, and it has nothing to do with what made these games good. Also, why would they build this? Like, what? Can you imagine, like, they're going to bury, you know, people in this tomb, and they just build all of these ridiculous fire traps into it? Like, it's a tomb, presumably intended for people to come and revere the dead. You know, it's just so contrived and ridiculous.
Thanks to the boasting of some pathetic mason, I believe I have found the Sarafan.
Now we have something that we obviously is pulled straight from the lore that we saw in Soul Reaver 1, of course, and also in the comic. You'll recognize this immediately.
Some arcane construct left behind as a last desperate defender of the...
Oh, you don't remember this from these other games? That's weird. What a weird thing to forget. This guy took me a couple tries the last time, but I quickly discovered that, so if you stand out in the middle of the room, he'll do a bunch of just slashing attacks that are somewhat obnoxious to avoid. But if you just stand right here in front of him, he only does one attack, which is this downward strike, and if you just dodge it, you can then immediately hit him, and that's the fight. Or at least if it'll give you the prompt, you can immediately hit him. So it's just this, but about 15 times. I feel like that, you know, these games don't need boss fights. Like, the combat has never been the appeal in these games. And if you look back to, like, Soul Reaver 2, even Defiance, like, there were very few things that I would actually classify as boss fights, right? Certainly not one per level. You know, Soul Reaver 1 had the sort of puzzle fights against the other, you know, former vampire lieutenants. But I don't really recall anything that I would call a boss fight in Soul Reaver 2, and only really a few in Defiance. Like, they didn't need to shoehorn this stuff in here. If they had just made the game otherwise fun, we could have done without this. Or if they were going to, you know, things like the Raziel fight, not that I think having that fight and having her just immediately beat Raziel right out of the gate after declaring, oh, he's never been defeated, was a good design choice. But, like, at least having that as a boss fight made sense in the context of the story they were trying to tell. And it didn't just add in some ridiculous monstrosity in a place where one really should not exist.
They Victus!
Like, that is not the kind of thing that you would expect to see in the Legacy of Kain universe.
The Sarafans, mightiest champions, and still they cling to mortality, blind to time's true face, a mongrel cur, skulking through every shadow, gnashing endlessly at the leash of its master, Mobius. But you, Inquisitors, I offer deliverance. Raziel, I will conjure your spirit back from the void that harbors it, and your name will scour the tongues of mortals, spoken only in fear. You will be my firstborn. Steel yourself as I rend you from the womb of death.
Definitely needed to have quick time events
Brother in wrath,
in these, or like
brother
button
in
presses
thirst,
in this
I
cutscene.
submit my flesh to your sting. Bite to the quick now, and discover the rich wellspring within me. Now to collect my bounty, a flow of rubies in a bejeweled cup.
That does not sound like Kane's manner of speaking at
My
all.
blood, suffused with ancient power, awakens the dead and binds them to my will.
Literally word for word. My blood, suffused with ancient power, awakens the dead and binds them to my will. Exact same scene cut straight from the comic, literally panel by panel.
I resurrect you with this vampiric gift and baptize you in the essence of my very soul. Rise, Raziel, my firstborn. Rise and serve.
Word for word. Like I said, I haven't read the entire graphic novel. I did kickstart it, but I was planning to wait for the physical copy rather than,
Slipped by,
I don't know, read it in a
and my
PDF.
lord's empire
But
decayed.
my understanding is
My
that the
brothers and
entire
I
story is
remain
essentially
loyal to
just
Cain,
the comic.
even as Nosgoth
So
withered
I
beneath
guess
his
that's cool.
corruption.
If you haven't bought the graphic novel, then now you don't need to do that either, because you've already seen the storyline. This is just the icing on the cake. This is like the coup de grace.
This is the keep of Raziel, first lieutenant of Emperor Cain. Why have you trespassed here, vampire?
I am Alalith. Look upon my face. Do you find no sense of the familiar? No memory of our shared blood?
What blood could I share with you? I am a son of Cain.
You have been fathered many times over, Raziel. Cain sired you from ash and dust. Is there no recollection of what came before?
A millennium passed. Its echoes hold no meaning for me.
What if I could reveal the secrets of those years, and lay them bare like they were only yesterday? Will you look upon the face of your human father? Our human father?
This is just...
I have no sister vampire.
It is certainly a
only
design
brothers.
choice. Let me just put it that way. I don't know what
This
they were
amulet
thinking
partakes in
with
Hilden
this.
magic. It shows truths, Raziel.
A pretty trinket, charlatan. But I will look. My eyes never turn from amusement.
Our hearts were light, Raziel. Innocence is a paradoxical weight. A heaviness realized only after it is gone. Admit you recognize yourself.
I do. But who is the other boy?
Matthias, whom we cherished as a second brother. He would become my world. See yourself as the kind and nurturing boy you were, Raziel. That raven, is it familiar to you?
I take little notice of winged creatures.
Perhaps awareness will make you more observant. You found the injured raven in the woods, and pledged to see it fly again. Your devotion was rewarded. The raven healed and took flight. For 3 days, you lingered, expecting it to return. Callously, I mocked your expectation. But then...
The fact that this all has to be exposition that Alalith is telling Raziel about his own
faith
history
was
is
rewarded.
really contrived.
The
And like,
raven
obviously he
returned to
doesn't
you,
remember his time
bearing
as a
this
Seraphan
gift.
when he's a vampire,
Unknown
as we
to
know,
either of us at the
because
time,
obviously they
this
would
was
never
no
go back on
mere
that.
birth.
He learned that in
It
Soul
has
Reaver
always
1, and it
been
was a
present
huge
in our
plot point.
lives, always watching.
Why
and
do we need
sometimes
this?
leading. It is the minion of Kaisetsik.
This is the kind of thing that could have been shown in another scene and actually
One
been
evening,
played through.
Years later, Cain and a tribe of vampires descended upon our village. You and Matthias were so valiant in our defense. We were separated. I found Matthias wounded, with a hideous creature crouched over him. It was ancient beyond reckoning, driven by a primordial hunger, and cursed with a touch that unmade flesh and soul alike. The change came upon him in an instant, but he was dying. I drew my blade, split my own palm, and offered the blood to his lips. That is how you found us. Without questioning, without hearing my pleas, you slew Matthias and decapitated my right hand, as one would cut out envenomed flesh to stop the spread of infection.
You don't decapitate a right hand.
see it did
Decapitation
not
is
work.
specifically removing the head. You dismember a hand.
Quite the opposite, brother. It sped a far more lethal venom into my heart. A pure hatred of you, as our paths seemed to fork in a manner that could never reconverge. But I've learned time insists on circles, even when the mind apprehends only straight lines. Though you maimed me, my transformation was not stymied. As the vampiric alteration came over me, the raven guided me to a place unshackled by time. The misty woods of Kaisetsik. A being, part human and part Hilden, whose human soul suffered torment in the demon realm. I agreed to rescue his soul, but not before achieving my goal of restoring Matthias. Through Hilden's sorcery, Kai fashioned me a new right hand for my quest. And something even more precious.
What?
I will reveal it when you are ready.
Then tell me, sister, what was my path?
You became a Seraphan Inquisitor.
Ha! Such an absurd falsehood.
See for yourself, brother. Do you recognize those faces?
Terrell. Dumas.
This is the greatest sin that this game commits, and there are many, but this is the
Cain would
greatest
not
by
call
far.
his greatest lieutenants from his fiercest adversaries.
The thought wasn't his. Someone led him to it.
Led by you. Cain would never embrace such delusions.
Perhaps it is the presence of Hilden magic, but I found I have powers of persuasion. Before I sought Cain, I turned to Mobius. My plea fell on deaf ears. He cursed me to drift in the stream of time, never knowing when or where I would emerge next. Only Kai's Wood offered refuge, though even it is a cursed place.
That would have been a
forsaken by
scene, you know,
time.
we could have seen that,
Time
we could have
itself
played through
became
that.
my adversary. And yet, I pressed on, and Kaisetsik aided me as best he could.
Once again, show, don't tell, you
Denied
know, it's a
by Mobius,
3-hour-long
I
game.
pursued
You
Cain,
could have included
seeking
all of
the
this
truths
content
of the
as playable
temporal
and made it an
paradox.
8 or 10-hour
In
game.
return, I revealed the hidden crypt of the Sarafan, the tomb where you and the other Inquisitors rested in silence. I spoke of your worth, of the lieutenants you could become. In that act, I shaped your rebirth. In a way, I am both your sister and your mother.
You did all of this to humiliate a memory?
I learned that only one relic, the Heart of Darkness, holds the power to restore life to a vampire. To Matthias, Janos Aldrin guarded it. Look upon yourself, brother. Witness the darkest stain upon your soul. You slew Janos Aldrin and took the heart. Now, You must give it to me. With it, I shall confront Cain once more and force him to create a paradox. Then, I shall wield the heart myself and bring Matthias back from the grave.
All right. Just in case you, it's been a while since you played Soul Reaver 1, I just want to remind you of this scene. This is Soul Reaver 1, right when you are about to enter the Tomb of the Seraphan. The Elder God is talking.
A forgotten history lies within. Know thyself, though it may destroy you.
The Elder God himself acknowledging that this is something that Raziel doesn't know. It's not just something that he's forgotten. Then we get Raziel himself walking into the tomb for the first time.
I was not prepared for what lay beyond this threshold.
This was like an iconic moment in this game. I mean, this was monumental to the story.
These crypts, defiled caskets of Seraphin saints, bearing my brothers' names, and my own. The irony of Cain's blasphemous act rushed in on me with the crushing force.
Does that look like someone who was told this however long ago this happened and knew of this ahead of time? Clearly not. I mean, I know you don't need me to show you the scene to know that, but it's infuriating to me that they decided to do that. It's like they had to take their care. I will not call it a fanfic character, just out of I don't know, just to not play into that discourse, but this character, and they just had to make it vitally important to all of the prior plot. It's just such a slap in the face to fans, and anybody who's not upset by this, I don't know what to tell you.
After everything I've shown you, how dare you keep it from me?
Well, she just waits for you to go and hit her every time too before moving. Like, she doesn't let you just chase her. You know, she has to just parry the attack every time and then dash ahead.
By the pillars, wings.
If only she could fly for that long when you were actually playing her.
The other gift of Hilden magic. The amulet and its magic have always been yours. I have merely been their keeper these many centuries. Consult the amulet. It has borne witness to our lives.
What resolution do you truly seek?
There is no end, brother. Only beginnings. The same change that dawned upon me is coming to you. When it does, I will find you and see if you emerge more amenable to my needs, and at last bring me the heart of darkness.
She's such an unbelievably poorly written, arrogant character. I have no other word for it. Oh, this is fucking phenomenal. I'll tell you what. Remember when the graphic novel noted that we were going to look at the origin of Raziel's mysterious wings? Well, turns out it was a Lilith the whole time.
All was black. I had only the amulet's its visions for company, and memories that were not my memories at all.
In Soul Reaver 1, in the intro, right, Raziel is talking about Cain, and he mentions, I can't remember the exact wording of the line, but it's something to the effect of, Cain would enter the state of change and emerge, more than he once was or something. And then he goes on to say, sometime later, my brothers and I would also undergo the same evolution, and that's when, then he says, I eventually I had the honor of, I can't remember the exact wording, I feel like I should know this, but had the honor of surpassing my master. That is not what is being, this scene is not what is being described there, right? Like, this is just, like, I get that they couldn't get Amy Hennig back to write this storyline, but, like, for fuck's sake, the least they could do is not shit all over what she did right. Oh, Raziel, you silly goose. You just can't avoid stepping on torches. Oh, dipped my toe in the water, so I'm dead. Can't have that. Ha! Flappy Bird was a cool game, right? Everybody liked that game. Might as well put it in this game too. It's just such a good experience. It's so hard to, like, it controls very poorly. I know it's just going to look like I'm just terrible at video games here, but, like, I'm telling you, the controls are really bad. You'd think that you could attack those guys in the air, but if you do, 9 times out of 10, you fall to your death because of the way that attack animations work. You can't start flying again until the animation is over. Also here, I'm stuck here until I kill these guys. But luckily, they'll just walk towards me until they die, so it's fine. Love all the other animations just stopping while he flies off to you. Ah, this. So remember what I mentioned before, that was my second least favorite level of the game. Well, this is the one that takes the cake. I don't know what they were thinking with this level design, but I can only imagine that it was something to the effect of, let's make this level as god-awful obnoxious as we possibly can. And let me tell you, they basically succeeded. not an upgrade. I don't remember where the upgrades are. I'm just gonna ignore them. I think I've probably already passed the ones that I had on my first playthrough, because after a certain point I just got frustrated to the point that I didn't even bother actively looking for them. And I'm pretty sure we're well past that point here. Well, at least that guy jumped in the water after he killed me. God, it's just so frustrating to me, you know? Like, this game had the potential to actually be something. Like, they didn't even have to change it from a side-scroll. I have no problem with that. I know a lot of people do, but I have no problem with the fact that it's a side-scroll. I have no problem with the pixel graphics. You know, I honestly really like pixel art. But, like, Jesus, you know, they just had to give it some actual reasonable gameplay. They could have just gotten somebody that actually knows how to design a game to make the content, had somebody that actually understands the lore and the storyline and how not to shit all over it to write the storyline, and they would have had something here. Yeah, this combat is just immensely frustrating. This game is, it's so, like, even purely on its merits as a game, ignoring the storyline in its entirety, it's still not a good game. It's just, it's not, you know? Like, if this is the, I don't know, man. Like, we had better games, better designed games than this in, like, the SNES, Super Nintendo era. Oh, good thing I teleported down onto that fire to do that. That upgrade just lowered the cost of flying, and they have to give it to you because it's functionally required. I don't know. I don't need to beleaguer the point. This game is bad. Don't buy this game. When we get to the level after this one, I am going to drop the difficulty down to easy because I had a frustrating time with that level the first time playing through it, and I don't really want to do that again. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. you can say what you will about that, but don't ever let anybody tell you that, completely unrelated to Legacy of Kain here, don't ever let anybody give you shit if you want to lower the difficulty on a game. Play the game whatever way you find fun. If you don't enjoy playing the game on high difficulties, don't do it, and don't feel the slightest bit bad about it. I don't think you need me to tell you that, but just in case you do, there it is. Oh, gotta go chase down this archer that's playing keep away, because I can't progress until we do. It's not even like Soul Reaver 2 that had the decency to put the enemies inside the, you know, the whatever tight little box too. These guys just run all over the place. These gun things are really what made this level just so bad. They're just so unnecessary and indestructible. It's just so... they did not need to do that. They add nothing to the experience, and let me tell you, they certainly detract from it. Oh, for fuck's sake. Come on! Flying controls are very not good. It honestly is like Flappy Bird. It's like Flappy Bird, but somehow worse, because you get very little upward momentum, but the downward momentum takes longer than it feels like it should to arrest. I honestly don't know how this game made it through like the testing phase. Like somebody had to actually play this and say, "Oh yeah, this is a good experience. This is the game that we want to release." And I don't know who those people were, but geez, you know, they should play some actually good games. Because clearly they haven't if they thought that's what this was. It's either that they thought that this was a good product that they were releasing, or that they just didn't care, and I'm not honestly sure which is worse. But like, they certainly had plenty of money from voice talent, and $1.5 million from that Kickstarter campaign, which I'm sure had something to, you know, some portion of that went into this. Like, to be clear, it's not that I think that $1.5 million is a lot to produce a high-quality video game. Obviously, it's not in the grand scheme of things, and that doesn't exactly buy you a whole lot of developer, you know, salaries. But the point that I'm making is, this was not like a zero-budget effort.
He is a master, not a mentor. He tempers his lieutenants like iron, forging servants, not successors. Now, tell me, did you bring me the Heart of Darkness?
The heart is a relic lost to time, sister. Why do you believe I possess it?
I believe you can obtain it. After all, you owe me at least one kindness.
He really doesn't, though, you know?
Don't be foolish. You now understand why you earned my malice, and you must atone.
See, the fact... And I mean, maybe this is just a character flaw on her part, but like, the fact that the writing would even imply that anybody in this game feels any kind of debt towards anyone else, or at least any of these characters feels any kind of debt for anything like that, is just so absurd.
While I was reborn within that cocoon, your sins were laid bare too. You have slain the innocent as well, Alelith. Their blood cries out for the same retribution you would inflict upon me.
The door to our past has opened, and it will not close. You will
So
recall
I mentioned
the
this earlier, but I
location
want
of
to
the
bring
Heart
attention to
of
it again.
Darkness,
Note that
and
now
you
she
will
has her
deliver
right
it to
hand,
me.
but it's her left hand that is the claw, because she's facing in the other direction and they just mirrored the sprites, which works fine when the characters have, bilateral symmetry, but not so much when they do not.
You demand what I cannot give.
Trust the amulet to reclaim memories from your Sarafan days. Without question, you took the heart. It is only a matter of uncovering what you did with it. I return to find you in deep.
You can even kind of see it as she's
consultation
standing
with
there.
the
You can see
past.
her right hand in
Perhaps
her
now
actual
you're ready to
sprite
help me?
has flesh color, but in the model here it has the claw.
I do not know yet whether to trust you.
Then trust the amulet. What did it show you doing with the Heart of Darkness?
As I've told you before, I do not have it.
That is not what I asked.
It showed my Sarafin self surrendering the heart to Mobius. He is dead, as you well know. And with him, the heart is lost. I can offer no more. I've indulged this distraction long enough. My obligations lie elsewhere.
The fact that he's even doing this is just so counter to everything we know about his character. Like, he was a loyal lieutenant to Kain, helping him build his empire, yada yada yada, right up until the events of the Soul Reaver 1 intro, which we'll actually get to shortly here. But why, in that context, would he have gone off on this little gallivant with her, presumably behind Kain's back, like behind everyone's back? I don't think he would. It's not like he has any allegiance to his sister. It's not like he has any even memory of these events. Like, for all he knows, this amulet could be showing him falsehoods, which, as far as I'm concerned, they are, because none of this matches the lore at all. Why would he not just go straight to Kain with this?
With
Like,
Cain?
it's functionally a
You
character
still
assassination
choose the
of
blood
Raziel.
Cain over the blood of kin?
Cain would welcome your allegiance. Our shared purpose would be a balm for your lonesomeness.
Have you forgotten who slaughtered our parents?
Yet you've never spoken of saving them. Only Matthias.
Father loved only you. His son, his firstborn, his heir. Matthias was my world.
Here's the other thing. They've gotten a lot of pushback. There's been a lot of people, I guess, claiming that it's like wokeness or whatever, that they had to add a female lead in this one. I don't care that it's a female lead. I mean, the game is kind of a sausage fest, to be perfectly honest. I think that I would have welcomed a female character. It's just... It's a female character whose entire motivation is saving her male boyfriend. Like, that... Even the people that are out there that just really value female leads in games, is that really what you want in your female leads? Like, come on! Like, Jesus!
And you shattered it the moment you killed him. Every misfortune in my life, Raziel, is because of you!
Like, you could even argue that this game doesn't even pass the Bechdel test, because every time she speaks to a male character, which is every character but her, and Ariel, I guess, she's just doing it out of motivation to get her beloved back. I mean, come on, give her some personality or motivations outside of that, please.
Is vengeance all that remains in you?
No, but it's all I have to give.
So as I was mentioning earlier, I like the parry, but they just went really lazy with it, where the solution to most boss fights is just parry, retaliate, repeat. We're going to see that, in
You
fact,
are
for the rest of the
Kane's
game.
firstborn,
Every boss fight, that's all it
just as
is.
you were
It's just
firstborn
parry,
in Thornlight.
riposte.
Should I go on still clinging to your shadow?
With your wings, you'll cast your own.
And now, you too possess wings. They are no coincidence. I counseled you to keep them a secret from your master, but I spoke out of envy. Your wings are a gift. Imagine how high Kane's esteem could raise you.
Yet another important event that was like, oh, it was actually masterminded by Alayla. She knew that Kane was going to despise him. She knew Kane better than Raziel did. Like, how would Raziel... How would she, in the one time she's met Kane, have this amount of insight that would give her this, and Raziel not be able to see through it? It is so
When
ridiculous.
Kane beheld my wings, he treated them with reverence. I knew that if he found the same wings on his firstborn, his esteem for you would
It just
be unparalleled.
it cheapens the events of Soul
I
Reaver. It
grew
cheapens the Soul Reaver 1
embittered.
intro, which, like,
You have bested me.
Jesus,
Ezra.
that intro, it was
I have no
great.
reason to lie to you.
And this just
Go to him,
cheapens
Ezra.
it.
Goodbye, sister. Cain will see what I have become, and it shall be the most defining hour of my existence.
Yeah, it's sure a thing. So now we've got to... I really hope this was the start of the level. I think it was actually... Okay, we're going to try to do it without lowering the difficulty, just because I have to go back to the title screen to do it. I forgot about that. If we have to replay the level on the earlier difficulty, we will, but I guess we'll just have to power through.
Just a drop.
I should have done earlier. I had forgotten about it. It goes back to... This is the thing. Every time you quit the title, when you restart, you're restarting a chapter, so it's the start of one of the title cards. And I don't remember exactly when the last one was.
Burn him from the sky.
And these are the things that I see.
Bones feed Nazca.
It's like they were like, I know, we could bring back these enemies that everybody totally, absolutely loved from Soul Reaver 2, but like, Raziel makes a big deal out of the demons when he first sees them. It's the first time he's encountered them, clearly. Right? Like, it's not like, oh, I remember these from 1,000 years ago when I saw them after my sister tricked me into going telling Kane about my wings, as if I would have been able to hide them otherwise.
Burn and be forgotten.
These have this ridiculous quirk where after you kill them, oh god, that's after you kill them, they catch on fire and burn, but you can actually take damage from that after they're dead, but only part of the fire. It's like in front of them, but nowhere else. It's immensely frustrating. Yeah, this level feels like its inclusion was just... They were like, oh, you know, we've got to have some kind of difficult thing at the end of these games. I know, let's include the fire demons that, you know, show up at the end of Soul Reaver 2. Nobody will hate that.
Burn and be forgotten.
Trying to focus. This level is like semi-serious time. It's actually frustratingly difficult. It's much more frustrating because I don't have the thing that heals you when you hit things. So basically, whatever health I've got is what I've got. So I pretty much have to do them hitless in a lot of cases, just because there's you don't get to heal off of them after you kill them like you do elsewhere. So kind of gonna have a bad time with this. They have this problem where they'll start attack animations, but then they'll finish the attack animation in a completely different direction if you're elsewhere. Like the fireballs, right? Like they'll start shooting them forwards, but then they'll just like fly upwards or at weird angles behind them. Same thing with their attacks. Like they'll do an attack, but then they'll just like instantly hit a second attack behind them. Like that, actually. Like no wind up on that. It just instantly goes from finishing one attack animation into the next one landing. And the fire on the ground certainly doesn't add... See, right there, perfect example, right? He fires a fireball and then is instantly hitting on the opposite side of it.
And be forgotten.
Oh, got hit by the fire from the dead guy. Yeah.
Burn and be forgotten.
I need to, I guess, just focus and get through this, because I can already feel that frustration tilt. But I really don't want to be stuck on this level for another 10 minutes.
Burn and be forgotten. You are not what carrion on the wing.
If it wasn't for the fire on the ground, I would honestly find this much less frustrating. That, and I mean, the instant wind-up attacks certainly contribute to that as well, but the fire on the ground limiting your movement while they just walk right over it is kind of silly. Like, it's just not great encounter design. Yeah, I'm gonna drop the difficulty down. We'll see where it puts me. I'm just not in the mood for this right now, and I'm sure you don't want to sit here and watch it either. See where that, I think it's going to be the beginning of all that dialogue, but if so, we'll have to skip it. Yeah. I don't think there's a quick way to skip through it.
Then
As a...
that with
King...
have you
Yet...
and
is...
no.
I mean, obviously I'm on easy difficulty right now, but I mean, you saw it before too. It's the exact same fight. Like, the whole thing is just absolutely brain dead.
Quit clutching at that. With you... Why do... Good...
Alright, let's try that again.
Kane...
Yeah, the whole situation with Alalith here is just, it's not just that the writing is bad. It's not just that it completely shits all over the existing lore. I mean, it is that. It's all of those things together. It's just the combination of everything. It's it just shows a complete lack of respect for the series and for its fans, and the fact that they released the... So if you weren't following it, they released the graphic novel on Kickstarter, and it just got absolutely atrocious feedback. I mean, it was I'm not gonna say universally reviled, because there were people that were defending it, but I would say the vast majority of the discourse was from people that were basically saying, this is not what we wanted. And their response has largely, there hasn't been any like, oh well, you know, this is why we did what we did, or like, oh, that's, you know, that's good feedback, we'll take it into account, and like maybe we can find some way to fix this. It was just, well, you just don't understand, you know, or like you just need to like read between the lines in the dialogue. I mean, it's not that we don't understand the dialogue, you know, it's got nothing to do with that. It's almost like they thought that we were too stupid to understand the implications of the storyline that they were telling, but that is in no way the case. This is just, it's a slap in the face to anyone who actually enjoyed these games. It's a complete slap in the face. They didn't, you know, I think this is, yeah. Can't tell whether you're going forwards or off the screen. You can't, they could have told a story about side stories, side characters, whatever, during all of these events. It would have been perfectly fine. Like, I personally at least would have really enjoyed that. Like, just give us stories about what other characters were doing, or, you know, the events that we saw and are familiar to us, but from another character's perspective, or show us something that was happening, you know, alongside that. Whether it's the same characters or different characters, it doesn't even matter to me. But just don't fuck with the existing lore, guys. That's all I can tell you. This is that engaging vertical gameplay, or however it was that they worded it, that they were raving about on the Steam page. So glad we've got this in the game. This is really adding a lot to the experience.
Leech of the clouds, your fight shall end in thunders!
Oh, I'm gonna die even on easy.
Leech of the clouds, your fight shall end in thunders!
This was actually the spot that made me want to set it to easy this time. First time doing that, I will fully admit. First time doing this, I was stuck here for a good probably, I don't know, 8 to 10 minutes just on this specific set of 3 demons, and then my 18-year-old son came in and was talking to me while I was playing, and he's like, "Do you need me to help you with that?" And I just gave him the controller and let him do it. And he did manage to do it. But, yeah, I don't mind hard games when they're actually fun games, but this is not that. It's not even that it's mechanically hard. That's not even the thing. It's hard because of just poor design and bad feedback. It's got nothing to do with actual difficulty of combat. That's what I find frustrating about it. There are definitely people out there who played this on whatever the nightmare difficulty or the hardest one is. There was I was reading some Steam reviews where people were saying, it's like, yeah, I played it on the hardest difficulty and it took me 6.5 hours. I'm thinking, okay, like, holy cow, you know? I played it on normal and it took me just under 3. So I'm going to assume that that's just 3.5 hours of dying and respawning that they did.
Bow to him, Raziel. Let Cain behold the power of your wings.
The sanctuary of the clans, seat of my lord's power.
Now we just get a recap of the Soul Reaver 1 intro. Because they know what the best content in this series is.
Lilith preyed on my pride. As she wished, pain sundered my flesh. My envious brothers lust for my downfall. They will learn I am not yet defeated.
I don't even hate this boss fight. I mean, honestly, this is fine with me. It just needed a better setup.
Not our loyalty. The price of your greed will
Also,
be
less
steep.
stupid enemies. What is even going on right now?
So often I look at you in envy, Raziel. Now I see I admired a fool. I will make your broken wings the new sigil of my clan. They never forget how pride poisons.
Like, he's just straight up missing. Do you see that? He's just standing there missing me. Like, what is even going on?
Was it not enough to be the first among Cain's select? You soar above us. But the noble vampire is now more than a broken bird.
For 1,000 years I watched you bask in Cain's esteem. Your fall brings me great joy, brother.
Enough of this!
Lilith's betrayal condemned me to an eternity of agony.
Cast him in.
The amulet. Keep my memories safe, flighted brother.
Unfinished business flees on the horizon.
Raven, you've returned with the amulet. What does this mean? What's become of my... Cain?
Greetings.
I gave this to Raziel.
I care nothing for trinkets, only our bargain.
What did you do to my brother?
Only what you knew I would do. I have delivered you the vengeance you were too weak to take yourself.
I'll show you weakness! From the moment I first laid eyes on you in Thornlatch, I knew what you were. The monster who painted my home in blood and left my brother and I orphaned.
Thornlatch. Then that is where it must begin. Curious how fate whispers through your bitterness. You speak of a past I have yet to make, and yet here you stand, shaped by it. Perhaps that night was not cruelty, but necessity, a genesis yet to be forged. If hatred brought you to this moment, then perhaps it was always meant to. Not as a victim, but as an instrument of my will.
These attack animations are just so impotent. It's just so frustrating to me.
You pledged to show me weakness. Thank you for the demonstration.
This is actually the first time I've seen these cutscenes, those specific cutscenes. There was a missing codec that needed a Proton update the first time I played through it, but I just didn't. I got here and didn't even care enough to go update it.
Where is Cain?
Like, especially because it
What
would have
happened?
required playing the level again because of the way the saves work. I don't really feel like I was missing a whole lot, to be honest.
The defeat he cannot comprehend. To provoke dread in Cain is a rare thing, Lady of Thornlatch.
What are you implying?
When Cain drove the river through you, he unwittingly gave you the very thing you have sought for so long.
A paradox.
The fact that this implies, I mean, I feel like this ending heavily implies that there's going to be a sequel, or that they have a sequel planned. And, like, I really, honestly hope that they just don't. Like,
History
please, guys, just, you see the backlash that you're getting for this installment, just stop. Like,
Just as I warned,
don't
time is
fuck up this series any more than you already have, please.
It yields to no master. It cannot rewrite the past to suit your desire.
Or alternately, if you must,
Sure.
make the sequel
I have squandered so much time.
Raziel as a human waking up and going, wow, that was a weird dream, and just strike this entire game and the graphic novel from the annals of,
At last you
you know,
obeyed
whatever,
the
canon.
command of Cain killed you, but today, the dead shall
Oh, The Dead Shall Rise, it's the name of the prequel, or the name of the graphic novel. Wow. We'll sit through the credits, because there's a scene after it too. Ironically, if you looked at the Steam page, the Steam store page for this game, and you watched the promo videos that they had, you've already seen the post-credits ending scene, because literally the last 4 or 5 seconds of that video was part of their promo, as was the like video version of the Soul Reaver 1 intro that we just saw as part of the end. That's how I knew what it was without having to go and install the codec to see it. It's part of the promo video. Like, I know a lot of games do that. Well, they'll include like pivotal parts from the storyline or even the endings of games as part of their promos. I really hate it when they do. Anyhow, we are essentially to the end. So if you've actually watched this for the entire duration, then I am sorry that you didn't have anything better to do with your time. But I don't know. I hope you've at least found these ramblings to be interesting. All of it's obviously just my opinions, but it's all I can offer. So if you enjoy the series, then don't buy this game. I would have refunded if I could. I tried, but Steam denied my refund because it was like, I was like, I don't know, 2 hours and 50 minutes or something by the time I finished it. Just, yeah. There's been some people that have said like, oh, but if we don't support Legacy of Kain products, we won't see anything else. But don't support this. Like, there are other things that you can support. Buy the games on Good Old Games. Buy the remasters on Steam. Those are excellent. Not this.
The creature who cursed Matthias! You and the Raven are one and the same?
Yes, Lady of Thornlatch. I am foodless. But know this, I did not curse your beloved. When I found him those many centuries ago, I aided him the only way I could.
Is it more of your feeble age you dare to offer me now?
I am here only to bid you farewell. We both serve Kaisetzig, but you have become our master's greatest instrument. Now,
You must tread where I cannot follow.
The demon realm.
Yes.
How do I cross the threshold?
Your Hilden hand. It is the key. It will summon the gate's surrender.
Then we part ways.
May fate favor you, Lady of Thornlatch.
That scene with her walking through the door is literally in the promo materials on Steam. All right, that's it. That's the whole game. I hope you enjoyed your time here more than I spent playing it. Have a great night.